they're automating the last step. So for now, the drivers are driving to your condo or to your house. But for how long? We know that AVs are right around the corner. So you're going to have an autonomous vehicle pull up and a freaking robot take out the package and drop it to your door or to the concierge if you live in a building, whatever, right? So it's not going to be great for jobs, but we know that this is where Amazon is going anyway with the layoffs that they've had. They try not to blame it on AI, but we already know what's happening here. So I think it's great for margins if you're an investor in Amazon. I just look at the societal impact and how that could affect. And think about this as well. I think we were talking about this in 24, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, when Amazon signed a new deal with their drivers where they were getting, including benefits and salary, $170,000 a year. That was the average. That includes benefits, so healthcare, some other stuff as well. But that's a huge fixed cost. Imagine being able to wean off that huge fixed cost and how that could be accretive for margins and for profitability. I hate to put it this way because people will lose their jobs, but I have nothing to do with it. I have no control over it. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's interesting. I know Amazon did a deal with an Australian robotics company not too long ago as well. So they're really looking to sway that way. Is this overly efficient? Yeah, you're eliminating the obviously the massive cost of the employee. You have the vehicle, the autonomous vehicle, whatever it may be, Zooks, and then you have the robot drop it off. But isn't there a little bit more of an efficient way? Like, can you have larger sized drones or something along those?
Like, that was the right idea. I thought the
go with the drone delivery. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. They got the cash. They can spend.
But it's inefficient.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, hold on, no, it's inefficient for the drone. Yeah, because the drone can come on 1 or 2 packages at a time, unless you're going to have these big-ass eVTOLs, right? We're talking a different story.
You would need a much bigger drone, right? Yeah, which is fair, like a much bigger drone, which is totally fair. I mean, these guys got the cash, and that's what I was just saying about not too long ago. What is that?
What's going on, man? I'm just looking through a couple of names in the market, honestly. Obviously, we looking at USO, and let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Let me know if you want to look at any of the tickers. Right now, we on Amazon. Shout out to my guy, Jarvis. You know, that's one of my day ones right there, so I appreciate you stopping in, Jarvis. We're going to start doing lives, probably intraday after lunch, just to kind of really run through the market. This is when I'm kind of having my time outside of the Discord community. Everybody eats. If y'all follow me on Twitter, then y'all already know what's up. But Amazon was looking slightly good majority of the day, meaning after we sold off at market open, which you can see right here. When we sold off at market open, we came down right around that 205.50 zone, actually almost 205 psych area. In the Discord, about 2 weeks ago, we wanted to go long if we broke out above 206.50, 206.65. And as you see right now, that's kind of been an area that we've been chopping at all day. We got this, we'll go, actually, you know what? The first pop after we dropped on the 5 minute was about right there. And then as you see, we got a lot of, let's go with this closing candle and these wicks. Actually, that's crazy, 206.44, right about there. So, as you see, we've been chopping in this area. But each time we get here, we hold. So buyers are defending this area, or sellers just aren't showing up heavy enough. And then also on the 5 minute, what I do like on Amazon, what you're asking about it is, we have the 21 SMA, that's the blue line, curling upward, meaning we could possibly, well, I don't know about today. I mean, yesterday we seen that crazy volume spike on the indices, stocks, I mean, you name it. Everything went stupid, like about a $7 to $10 move. I could be exaggerating, but either way, it did move. IWM, SPY, all that. And then right now, I don't know if you guys are buying Amazon while we talking about it, but as you see on the 5 minute, we got 2 minutes left. We're coming up into that 21, and that's what I was about to say. If the 21 can break above that 206.90, which is what I just put, then I'm gonna look to see if we could get a 5 minute close above that 21 SMA. Because each time we got above, right here, we got above, we broke out. And then we lost it. Again, we got above, slightly broke out, and then lost it. The only time we held the 21 SMA was when we got above it, let's just say here, and these next couple of candles on the 5 minute, we held above like that. But Amazon, I mean, overall, to keep it a buck with you, go to the 4 hour. It's holding up. And now that I'm looking back on the 4 hour, look at this area right here we're defending from the drop down sell off after earnings right here in February. Came down. We didn't feel that gap to 194.70, but we did get pretty close on Amazon. And then now we had our 21 respect this golden zone, and we chopped and consolidated above at 203. And that's why I tell the Discord, anything above 203, we still basically long. Now below 205, we're not bearish, but at the same time, we are super cautious to see if we're gonna go retest that 202.50, 203 zone. But anywho, with all that being said, so right now you see we definitely have a nice little slight uptrend going, still making higher lows, but after running back up to this 219.80 zone, here we are coming back down with a slight downtrend. But again, we're continuing to defend and hold this area here. Matter of fact, I'll just highlight it. I don't know how to do the hotkeys yet, but we'll get there with the hotkeys eventually. So, you know what? Actually, I'll just do a line. I don't feel like doing no arrows. So, like I say, we was looking for 206.50, 206.60. And as you see, that was up. It's crooked, but you get my point. We defended right there. We defended right here. And then, I ain't gonna put that as a defense, but this here was the area that we actually rejected for some time right there, which is now we're holding. And then we also reject, when we first had our little breakdown, we had that little rejection right there. So right now, as long as we hold 206.60, this look good. And then I'm realizing on the 4 hour as well, if the 21 SMA can stay inside of my royalty zone, which if I'm not mistaken, I believe that area is 209 something. So basically, if the 21 SMA can stay above 209.61, ideally, right? If it could stay above 209.61, then I think that looks good for Amazon. But like I said, I don't know what the names you guys looking at. Now I'm gonna go look at the SPY and the Qs while he was here. First, let me get rid of all of that. I'll keep that for now because now we could just see also on the 5 minute. Here we are coming down, maybe losing that break structure lower day. We'll see. But let's look at USO. So oil continuing to trend higher, which is expected. That is gorgeous on the 30 minute. That is gorgeous because yesterday, boom, we sold off 30 minute, come down. Here we go. We held the 200 in the after hours, lost it in the pre-market, reclaimed it. 21 is respecting that 200. Yeah, oil looks real good right about now, at least today. And let me go back to Devon Energy. We jumped in a $50 call and they went up pretty good. As you see, Devon went up to 49.68. I called out the play when we reclaimed the 21 SMA, and now we're actually holding the 21 SMA on DVN. If we go to the higher time frame, there we go. Now the daily is like it's super extended. But with oil going the way it's going, then yeah, 46 will really be a support bounce. I wouldn't call that a golden zone. And I don't trade oil all the time, but I do trade whenever I see a technical setup there. I'm not gonna chart this thing right now. We just running through names. Yeah, we got a lot of gap runs. Let's see what Oxy look like on the daily. Oxy on the daily, super extended. And I just told you guys yesterday, I think we was on the weekly or the monthly up. That's the month weekly. The monthly, yeah, we're targeting 66. We could see if we could get to this 200 SMA on Oxy on a monthly time frame. We could get that, that would be ideal. Devin, we was already above, and that could be, no, we already there. So that's probably why we're rejecting on Devin Energy right now, because we already at that point. Exxon on the monthly, it broke 161. We just talked about that yesterday as well on the live stream. Chevron, that thing went stupid above that 201. Let's go to the daily and a 4 hour on Chevron. My bad, I'm checking on the play right now and checking notifications and all that type of stuff. Okay, yep, oil doing what is semi-expected. So yeah, that's Chevron on the daily 4 hour. A lot of these are just gone. Now, possible setups I was looking at this morning, and we holding 100, and that's only because on my Webull chart, I seen we were reclaiming the weekly 72. I don't really like names like this, but at the same time, it is making on the monthly higher lows, higher highs. So that's something to keep an eye on. I'm about to go and look at NVIDIA, a couple of other things. Since the chat just be so off and so quiet for you, boy, I may just let my people rock and talk with y'all for a minute. And we'll just go look at the, we'll go look at the SPY 4 hour. Or do you want the Qs? Yeah, we'll just rock out with the Qs 4 hour.
Favorable to it, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking to expand this energy storage into India as well, too. So I think, I mean, a segment within the company that we were talking about not too long ago that was relatively quiet, but is starting to grow at a substantial rate, and he's getting all these deals done, whether it be in China, $2.9 billion, and then also looking to head into India as well. So I like how he's really starting to expand. He got his foot in the door with the EVs, and then now it's really just like, hey, you have the Gigafactory in China, and then now you're moving into India. And I mean, this is what you want to see from Tesla, because we know that its EV segment is really starting to dwindle. So what is going to be that next thing that is going to drive Tesla to that multi-trillion-dollar market cap that he needs in order to get his trillion-dollar pay package? Is it going to be the energy storage, which is slowly starting to lead the way, and it's robotics and autonomy, which I think is important. Also, Netherlands are starting to approve full self-drive (FSD). Nice. Yeah, so nice. that's on the way.
In Europe.
We'll wait until everybody else gets it done, and then we'll think about allowing it here.
Just before we go back to see it, guys, I wanna take a picture of this, because if this loses VWAP, this is the prototypical lure in. This is what I meant on Anna. A plethora of lower highs, you then get a break in trend. And then what ends up happening, you get a break in trend, but you get a lower high, and then you get a breakdown again. So guys, if Anna loses VWAP here, currently showing 6 1/5, this is a short, okay? Now, where you may encounter some initial support, which may dampen the short party, I'd say between 6 to 580. 6 because the whole dollar level, we could have buyers at 6, but you also have price action initial resistance at 580. Buyers could step in there. So watch for the first thing here, the loss of VWAP on ANNA and this lower high with a downtrend break. This could spell trouble. Now, it doesn't mean that this is moving back down to VWAP. It still needs to make it down there. But this is what I mean when you have a prolonged lower high trend, you get a break with some higher highs and higher lows, but then it fades and it makes a lower high. And this is where I need to get a little bit better at spotting these, which is why I didn't take this until it breached through 7 again. I was watching this closely as we were doing the news. Keep an eye out here on AWNA. This could be a beautiful short if it loses 620. Neil, if you have an opportunity, can I see how much the shorts would be for AWNA? I appreciate that, brother. All right, Sia, what do we got?
No, one thing
Go
before
ahead,
we
Joey.
send it back over to Sia, never buy property in Mexico, says No Loon. Okay, I need to know a little bit more about that. But as for AMDL, guys, a nice move here to the downside. We're starting to piece some more out. I don't have very much left, considering we tripled up our size right here, and we were fortunate enough. It's been a while since I put on one of these all-day traders. Straight from the get, we're in that from around 940. Take that to the low. We get that reload. It was honestly a picture-perfect pattern. We were fortunate enough to participate in that. We have the multiple reloads, and then boom. So participating in this whole move down in AMD in the market. NASDAQ, low of the day. SPY heading towards the low of the day. And then we have NVDA also putting in a new low of the day. Well, USO, you guessed it, is at the high of the day.
SMCI is down 30%. Oh, baby. See ya.
Yeah, Sharif, that's exactly what I was coming to. SMCI has been tanking this entire day after the employees were charged with smuggling NVIDIA chips to China. Now, let's go into context here. U.S. prosecutors have charged associates that are linked to SMCI with illegally diverting NVIDIA-powered servers to China. So there are alleged violations of the Export Control Reform Act, which basically restricts advanced AI chip exports without any licenses. And this case also highlights the ongoing U.S. efforts to block high-end AI hardware from reaching China. So the defendants have allegedly used a Southeast Asian intermediary company to disguise these shipments. And fake documentation and dummy servers have also been used to mislead compliance terms and regulators. Real servers have also been reportedly rerouted to China, and the inspections were staged to appear compliant. So the scheme has generated roughly $2.5 billion in server sales since 2024, including a $510 million in a short 2025 window. So no export license has been obtained for shipments involving NVIDIA's GPUs. And this is proof of the massive demand for AI that we keep talking about, compute in China, even under strict restrictions.
What are we going to do with this company, bro? Like, what are we going to do with this company, bro? Every 6 months, there's a scandal, man.
Yeah, I like them.
Get it together.
I like him now.
You like him now because of this guy.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
Joey, let's cut the crap,
yeah,
okay?
Seriously.
It's not like there isn't a data center in the heart of Mongolia's interior with Blackwells that DeepSeek is using.
Yeah,
that doesn't exist, Joey.
No, it doesn't exist.
Look, the fact of the matter is, you're going to put restrictions, and they're going to find ways around it. It's a game of cat and mouse until it isn't.
Yeah, there's loopholes, right? They're going to find loopholes.
This is not even a loophole. This is just fraud.
No, but yeah, it is flat out fraud. There it goes. Look at the market really starting to tank here now.
Yeah, market tank.
Let's take a little bit more off. But Sharif, to add to your point, it's like we knew China was getting them from somewhere. So it's like if you're China and some of the corporations who are acquiring some of these illegal chips, are you now worried because it's like, hey, our plug is now been exposed?
Well, exactly it.
Right?
But can I say one other thing? That if you believe some of the Chinese reports, the Americans are putting kill switches and tracking devices on these.
They've been saying
I'm
that.
not saying that they are, but what I'm trying to say is imagine that these things are juiced and they're learning how the Chinese are using them, right? I'm just saying.
Do you think, why would they do that?
So they can get an advantage. Bro, that's what Altman does. He gives you the product for free,
well, that's
watches how you use it.
They wouldn't do that. I should have said they wouldn't do that.
Of course they would. Are you kidding me, man? All right.
Hey, you know what I say all the time, brother?
Yes, sir.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
That's fair.
All right?
That's fair. No, we're getting super, skeptical here. And the fact of the matter is this is not a good look. This is a serious company. It was part of the NASDAQ 100. And, if they want to be taken as a serious company, they're going to have to get their together because I get this is not the company doing it, but this is one of the co-founders, this Wally Liao guy. This guy owns, as Neil joked this morning, he used to own $464 million worth of stock. It's down 30% today, so he's taking a bit of a haircut there. But this is one of the main dudes in the company. They can't be doing this. and think that they're going to stay on the exchange, especially having such strong ties to China already, makes you a little sus. So I don't really have anything to say other than I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised, man. These guys already had issues reporting on time and everything along those lines. So, I mean, what do we say? The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
No, it doesn't, Joe.
So these guys are repeat offenders, and I wouldn't be surprised if they continuously get in trouble. I don't know. And you know what's funny? Kramer likes the front office here at SMCI. I don't know.
He likes it?
Yeah, I don't know what there is to like.
What is there to like about Charles
They don't
Liang,
report.
man?
They don't report on time.
No.
Right? They're doing this. So it's like these guys are some shady individuals. It seems to be. But yeah, the Nasdaq is really tanking. Also, guys, covered call. I don't have that many shares. I wasn't even swinging some. I'm just slowly going to buy more and more and more.
Let me ask you something though.
On NVIDIA.
Is Dell a buy because of this? Well, here's why I say it. Before you answer.
Yeah. I need to know.
So think about your company now that does business with SMCI. You're a hyperscaler, you're maybe a medium scaler, and you've been getting your server racks from Supermicro. With the heat that's coming on, with the consistent heat, you drop them as a supplier and you move to Dell.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts?
I think so. That'd be the smart play, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen with these guys. What if they have to slow down production? What if the DOJ is going to start rinsing their pockets, and then sure enough they can't meet their obligations?
That's a fair point. But how about from the perspective of the customer? Let's just say Amazon. I'm not saying Amazon's buying from them. I'm just
Why would you want to?
Why would you want to do business with these people? Because it looks bad for you. You have to explain that to the board. You have to explain. Management has to explain that to their shareholders. You're gonna be like, why do you keep doing business with these people?
It's like buying the watch off the guy on the street. You know what I mean? Is that an extreme?
Yeah, no, it's fair.
You know what I mean? Buying the watch
bro,
off
I mean, they can't, right now get mad about.
I've been watching too many Diamond District videos, man. I'm all about the Mazelito.
Hello, where's my money?
Where's my money? But they can never do the price. They can never. It is brother. I can't pay that price.
I like that guy, man. He's angry all the time.
Who Trax?
Yeah, Trax NYC. I've never seen him happy.
I like Benny.
Even when he's smiling, he's angry, bro. He's hilarious. Anyway, SMCI is dropping down 29.5, Sia. But you know what isn't dropping, Sia? Oil.
You're right there, Sharif. Oil is not dropping. Crude prices have moved higher with Brent at over $110 and WTI at 96, near 96, even as the U.S. is considering easing sanctions on Iranian oil. I'm sorry about that. The U.S. Treasury Secretary has signaled that up to 140 million barrels of Iranian crude could re-enter the market soon. And Iran's disruption of the Strait of Hormuz continues to be a key driver for volatility and risk premium in oil. And Israel has indicated efforts to help reopen the critical shipping route, which is hinting at a possible de-escalation here. Citi has raised near-term oil targets to $120 within the next 1 to 3 months, with a $150 bull case if disruptions get worse. And Saudi officials have suggested an extreme upside risk as well, with $180 oil possible if supply disruptions keep persisting into late April. And Citi's base case has assumed de-escalation within 4 to 6 weeks, which could push Brent back within the $70 to $80 by year end. And this suggests current spike may be temporary rather than structural, but this also heavily depends on the conflict.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, I forget the name of the island where the great majority of the Iranian, pardon me? Kurg Island. Thank you, Sia. That island, that's where I think 90–80% of Iranian oil exports ship out from. There were reports, I'm not saying that they're accurate, there were reports this morning that the Americans are either looking at taking that island or conducting a naval blockade to kind of put pressure on Iranian oil, which didn't jive with me because just before we got that report, we also had a report that President Trump was removing sanctions like he did on Russian oil from Iranian oil, obviously to help with the supply and, to ease prices a little bit. So on one hand, you're going to restrict oil exports by quarantining or blockading the island or taking it over. And the other, you're going to allow Iranian oil to go back online so it doesn't have to operate through the shadow fleet, which is what it does with the Russian and previously Venezuelan oil. We spoke about that. So I don't know how to kind of take all this. There's so many developments. They happen so quickly. Some are contradicting each other. The fact of the matter is, Joey, I think that the sooner this conflict ends, obviously, we get back down to 70, 80 bucks a barrel. I don't think, though, 2026 sees high to mid 50s like we did earlier this year.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's going to be enough supply to come back online.
So I don't know if this is the best kind of comparison, but we know with the tariff tantrum and everything along those lines and the trade deals with the United States and what it made essentially sovereign nations kind of diversify their imports and everything along those lines. Do you think we're going to see that in the same thing with oil, considering it's like, hey, it shows you how fragile the system is. So do we start to diversify in some way so we're not so heavily reliant in a region that is plagued by conflict?
Well, I think the Americans got all the oil they need, right? You know they're not having a...
All right, so I'm back. What happened was, well, I don't really know what happened. However, we lost that psych level of 585 to the Discord on the Qs that we could go. If we lose 585, we could test 583. Now we're beneath 652.20 on ES, on the SPY. If I were to go to ES and Q, yep, now we're beneath the golden zone. So if you guys was on the live stream yesterday, then y'all already seen or y'all are aware that we wanted to see if we would come back down and test this 6,000 psych level, or 6608 to be exact, but see if we was going to retest that and then go higher. Unfortunately, or not unfortunately, yesterday we had that crazy run up at the end of the day, market closed, boom, start the day off at the top of this sniper fair value gap, not based off Fibonacci's, but had this opened up here this morning, boom, here we go, down. So we already know the Qs, we are probably, not Qs, NQ, NASDAQ 100 futures, we are most likely probably beneath, 24,262. And I never updated this. I told y'all yesterday I would update this 24,080 zone, and I'll just make that just a solid 24K. Keeping a mental note of 24,080. However, yeah, we'll see. Well, we had that lick grab, that double bottom. We'll see how that pans out. Go back and look at USO. I wouldn't be surprised to see if we didn't break out above that resistance from yesterday. We didn't, but we are right there. So, and this looks, so on the 30-minute, once again, I see we've been in this nice little range. 116 is roughly like that line in the sand. That's what I'm going to call that. And then here we are at 113, but we break above 122.87, 123. Things could get funky. VIX 25, VIX 3M, which is the 3-month volatility index, it's at 26.7. The dollar is still below 100, but hey, boom, not good. And we already knew that this would happen. We talked about this in the Discord as well. I usually put the link in there, but just subscribe to the channel, man, or tap in with the future live streams. But we were expecting, this is the reason why we weren't really bullish on the overall market. Because we know how, not NASDAQ, we know how NVIDIA is heavily weighted in the NASDAQ and in the Qs. So, I say NASDAQ and in the Qs, and in NASDAQ and S&P 500. So if we had this bear flag on the 4-hour after their earnings, right beneath this 200 SMA as well on the 4-hour, also within our red sniper fair value gap zone or whatnot, if we couldn't get above and actually hold and close above that 188, 189, then 195 and all that extra humbug that everybody was talking about, that was not happening. But now beneath 175, that's I mean, we already know what time it is, man. We could be in for a massive correction on this market. I mentioned that yesterday. Google lost 300. Apple beneath 248 now, but already below 250. So, and then Amazon. Amazon is still one of the strongest ones, but we all know that Amazon was a lagger. I'm only on the 4-hour, duh. So every time it comes down, though, it still has yet to make lower lows from today on the day. But with the trend of the market, we got to go with the trend of the market, basically. We can't sit here and just be like, oh, I can't say be like whatever, but you know what I mean? Like, we got to follow. So just because this one's holding up well, then yeah, I don't know. I'm going to look at some of the memory names that you guys like. MU, that's on a 30-minute. Let's go back up, 4-hour. So, yep. After a nice run, when was that, yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday. Boom, pop up. Now beneath the 21 on the 4-hour with a slight little curl coming on. And that curl is actually 450, around that 450 zone. So this is things that we look at in the community, but SNDK 4-hour, you are holding currently your tops. WDC is another one. That one as well. So Micron at the moment is one of the ones that is kindly like super overextended. Let's go look at some of the cybersecurities. Okay, so Crowd is giving us that. Oh, it went to the 451. I ain't noticed that. And then now here we are, possibly losing or getting the depth cross on the 4-hour, the 21 and the 200. Pan W on the 4-hour. Yep, it made the move. So now we traded this name a number of times in the Discord community. Well, not a number of times. We had a nice swing on it. From this weekly 200 hold, net was our favorite and still is, mine's for sure, because it is holding up the most out of everything. It went right to our 230 target. We can't make none of this up. But it wasn't the weekly for net. It was the daily, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was just the daily, how we had experienced the depth cross of the 21-200, double bottom, and then boom, straight up to the upside. So, yeah, we'll see what's happening with that. But going back to some of the big names, we can look at Meta. Meta actually, if it comes down to certain names that I would be putting on my list with dip buys, it probably would be Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon. Everything else for me is still overextended, if you ask me. Silver, below 70. And then crude oil is back above 93. Look like it's trying to go to 100 a barrel. Go look at DBN, see what that's looking like. And this Amazon play is just, you can't make this Amazon play up, boy. DBN is still looking good as well. So, yep, there go that 30-minute, like I said. We was holding that last one, 30-minute, boom. This thing looks gorgeous. So, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, man. I may come back later. Again, if you guys want to lock in with your boy, man, subscribe to the channel. Share this video out to your peoples. You know, but we got more to come, man. Appreciate you guys. Much love. We out.